What's good, YouTube and Twitch, and welcome to the house. We're live to both right now with a market watch where the tabs are spread so far open I can't tell what I'm clicking on. You guys tend to love those. And first thing here is the most asked question that's been going around. What's gonna happen to Ultimate Effect Veiler with the Starlight Rare coming? Will it be crashing down in price? Will people drive more towards this forever to take the stance on Ultimate Rares? I'm gonna answer that after we just show off some of the most stupid buyouts I've seen in a long time. With Adamantipator getting more hype and being able to tune, people are looking at Borreload Savage Dragon. I've got something to tell you guys. You've got like 4 months here before the Megatons show up with Savage Strike as a set confirmed within the tins, and you've also got to dodge Battles of Legend, which had Boral Sword within the set as one of the main selling points. Yet this is disappearing at the $60 mark. This isn't the only stupid buyout of the weekend. Toon Kingdom has got to dodge Toon Chaos, as well as the Joey / Pegasus Duelist Pack, the Legendary Duelist reprint set that has card slots for every single card plus 1 or 2, and you even went after the rare. People are wilding out with their new money. Stimulus checks are one thing, but also you have overtime and hazard pay to people, and this is how you spend. This is the Mad Lad stuff going on, and it gets a little worse. It gets a little worse. Kitchen Dragon Maid is $80 despite 0 online presence. Yes, Eternity Code has the Dragon Maid stuff coming, but this isn't a real deck. This isn't a real thing, but you gotta match the Prismatic Dragon Maids. I am actually losing it on these buyouts this weekend. This is a wild ride of a weekend. It's been the craziest week on the market in history, past Banlist, past whatever's been happening. This is crazier than Master Rule 5, it almost feels like, and things are disappearing that just straight up should not be. Now let's talk about Effect Veiler. People want to know about the Ultimate Rare, and in my opinion, it will fall down a little in price. It was overinflated heading towards this because it had multiple buyouts along the way, and you see that unlims are 80 where they used to be 60. I could see this being 65 towards 70. I certainly do think the unlims being a new mid-lower rarity will kind of disappear, but the first edition lowest, at least as of the other night, were towards 180, and we do see that already slipping with people starting to go towards 170. I called this to fall towards 160, and that seems to currently be happening, but we'll see if people take a stance, if they want to kind of draw the line in the sand and go, no, I think this is a great investment, because the 181, some of them seem to have actually shifted up rather than disappearing, while others are going down. So with Veiler, I personally think we will see a little bit of a downward trend. I'm going to compare it to something else in Yu-Gi-Oh! History. Darkarm Dragon First Edition for the last decade rode neck and neck with the Ultimate Rare, with the Ultimate finally catching up, and it wasn't until recently, like the last about half a year, where we finally saw buyouts on Darkarm Ultimate where it surpassed the first edition by miles. They were both at 120 for a good chunk of time, and I've actually featured that on Market Watch before, and now we see 110, so it's slowly gone down. There is a huge preference towards Ultimate Rares here, but to note, people are considering this max rarity now, so there's a difference versus Ultimate Veiler. This is considered max rarity, whereas the Starlight will be considered max rarity for Veiler. But there is a huge nostalgia linked to this card, with being one of the greatest hand traps of all time. It will still float back into certain formats. So I see it like Darkarm, where it's going to maintain a very good chunk of value down the road. Now, getting past all these bad buyouts, I can't believe it. Tour Guide is an interesting buyout. The Ultimate Rare spiking to absurd proportions. I played against, on my last live stream, like 3 BA decks in a row. I was very shocked to see just BA decks lining up while I was playing the Eldritch / Eldritch. It really does seem to have this kind of back in popularity in online play, but I don't know if that's going to bring it to any kind of forefront of the metagame or to where people should be taking this as seriously. But Tour Guide is an insane tool, and with the 3 tactical tactics kind of thing coming out to punish hand traps, well, well, this could get impermed, you're still going to be able to rank up. I like Tour Guide, I think it's fine. I do think this is actually a big brain buyout, but we'll see what happens with the secrets too. I actually haven't peeked in here, so not a reaction channel, only one take on this video. Let's see where First Ed Tour Guide and Unlimited Tour Guide went alongside this buyout, shall we? The Unlims are towards 30, with the one a little lower, and the lowest near mint first towards 40, not the most horrendous thing, so it's not like it's just disappearing suddenly. But there are very few quantities. Blue Eyes Toon Dragon had a big boy buyout, and something that was alarming to me is that the fallout is not only slow versus the actual copies, you can see the ridiculous priced ones here, but for the ones that are lowest listed near mint first, 270, I looked on eBay and it has sales rates at the 220 mark. Multiple sales rates. So these are really starting to move as a new age collectible. Toon Chaos is coming, giving it a bit of hype. You also have the Joey's reprint for its legendary duelist / the Pegasus one, where the Pegasus one has the Toon stuff. This is kind of wild to see the actual sales rate. Yes, it has the name Blue Eyes. Yes, it has Toon, two fan favorites, but I don't think this is going to see play or use outside of fun decks that are like trying to Exodia FTK, where people play the same deck for 5 years on Dueling Book. White Aura Bahamut is actually running, or Bahamut because it has 2 heads, is running out of actual sellers. We have TCG lowest with 37 copies here at $9, and we see actually my new sponsor Yu-Gi-Oh! Black Market, they seem to have invested and prepared for this buyout at 64 copies waiting and watching. So if you list yours now and maybe the $12 range, you might get some sales if people do think this is a big brain buyout. It does have multiple purposes, it's a decent card, but it is also a manga promo with no other printing, which is why it's susceptible here and running out of quantities. Gaia Plate the Earth Giant only has its Ultra and Ultimate printing, I believe, when I try to look it up. I don't see any other copies, and the new system for TCG player has been a bit frustrating. You have to click the specific card, but I don't see any others. This is interesting. You remove 2 rock type monsters, so it's like a Gantus, but it costs 2, and it does have a decent effect, and you can get some rank 8 overlays out of some cheese fun decks, and yeah, the price is up there. Old teas in general. The Ultra is also slowly disappearing if it hasn't already. Let's go ahead and check in on that. Where you see, well, no, there's actually 3 whole pages, so it's actually doing okay, but it is up versus its market price. Silent Magician, everybody's wondering why. I find this a much more suitable waifu than a Dragon Maid, first off. She is a mommy and her sleeves are nice. Second off, she has a very easy summoning condition, and third off, she has a great effect. Fourth off, she has no reprints and she's out of a duelist pack. Remember, Legendary Duelists are repurposed marketing of duelist packs. These are still hard to get, these are still hard to come by, and it's a decent card that you could actually see find some play. Witchcrafter buyouts are happening. We see that Hain actually has a 3rd wave of buyouts here. People are really investing into this deck versus its market price. Like, it's now towards $9. I find this actually kind of ridiculous, and the other Witchcrafter cards keep bubbling up for the harder to get ones. Now that it was in Dual Overload, we saw the reprints of stuff like There and Creation. Ah, yes, the set of Secret Slayers might be flipping on itself soon in terms of Researcher versus the Eldritch, as we saw the LCS top 32 have 18 Adamancipators top, and people are running wild talking about this. You still had 8 Eldritch, which was within the range of, if we had a YCS today, I thought you would see 8 to 10 Eldritches top, but there's a very good comment down the line here past everybody saying Block Dragon banned, rip Block Dragon. They would, so he's talking about how online is very different from real life. Even money on the line for play or whatever, there's going to be different representations. There's going to be different people trying different things here, even with online. So he brings up a very good point here that this isn't necessarily how it would go in a YCS. Like, to me, I think Salmon Greats, which only have 1 top here, are super budget in real life and would have a way bigger representation coming into a tournament like this. But we see, yeah, Adamancipators, the big brain pros, now they're on it. They're learning to crack those boards. They're learning to play versus hand traps. So, do you guys think that Eldritch will stay atop because it's easier to play, more people are friendly to this, like they're more apt to play this kind of deck, or do you think that the Adamancipators could overtake Secret Slayers, as I originally called way back when? Also, speaking of being able to put multiple tuners out, this level 9 Synchro, if it's Synchro summoned, you can target a monster your opponent controls and or in their graveyard up to the number of Synchro materials used for this summon, and banish them. That's pretty darn freaking good. That's a lot of things it can take care of. So we're seeing a buyout on Crystron. Should I try to murder this name? Quarion Gandrax. He's getting bought out to ridiculous prices as well when he wasn't looked at for ages. Cross Sheep is maybe bumping up. I just noticed this. It's heading back towards $8.50 towards $9 pretty quickly versus a market price of $8. People are getting ready for IRL again, even though we don't know when that is. But it is smart to have certain cards like Ignition Assault. We know isn't getting reprinted for a long time, so it's not the worst thing to start grabbing since the Megatons were confirmed not to have iGas. Next up, we've got Infinitrack Anchor Drill. This is apparently due to Cyber Dragon hype combined with train hype. I would give more value to the trains than the Cyber Dragons, odd enough, under the new Master Rule. Cyber Dragons are really choking and struggling a bit here, so I kind of like the look at this. So I really, when I stare this down, yeah, side sets keep getting these insane injections of value, but then when I see the box value stay the same, it just shows people don't have the faith to chase after short prints, to chase after ridiculous things, and they're buying the singles up, and that's where they're not going to replenish on the market until it's worth cracking the sealed for them. Anamana Toparia is towards $4 lows for damage. Wait, how bad is this? How bad is the original rare, max rarity, by the way? $13. That's kind of crazy. As I understand, there's something different about how it might work in the TCG versus how it's ruled on Dueling Book right now. But the engine, it will be played either way, I imagine, in the deck. Yeah, quarters. I couldn't see upgrading to rare for that much, but people be wilding out right now. And then finally, Neos Kluger has some hype, and people are looking at Ubel stuff of all things. We saw Neos Wiseman bought out before. Other Ubel stuff, it's always been collectible, is rising up in price. So if you've drug your heels on getting your Ubel stuff, there's some big jumps in prices if you don't hurry towards the cards you might be wanting in max rarity. That being said, thanks for joining today's Market Watch Live, especially if you were live.
And if you want to go in on these crazy buyouts, be sure to use my TCG link in the description, costing you nothing extra for the cards you'll already be buying, helping the channel directly.
I forgot to sell out. That's my bad. That's my bad. But yes, please subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed the conversation. And what do you think of the crazy bad buyouts alongside some of the more big brain ones that are happening on market right now? Geesh.